So we're here in beautiful San Diego with Aliza Sherman, author of The Complete Idiot's Guide to Crowdsourcing. So thank you for joining us, Aliza. Tell me first, how did you get into crowdsourcing?
I actually was writing about virtual work and how the internet has affected the way we work, and came across the topic of crowdsourcing. It wasn't long ago, but it had to have been at least 2 years ago. Came across Jeff Howe's article in Wired online talking about the concept of leveraging a crowd to get something done. And I blogged about it. I enjoyed the topic. I found it fascinating. I really like to learn about processes and how things work and how things can work better. And when then you put technology or the internet into the mix, I just find that fascinating. It's a geeky little thing.
Sure, so after you learned about it, what did you like? What drew you to it?
It was probably just the idea. I love the internet, and I've always been an internet evangelist. So I look for any way that the internet can be useful. And when you really think about it, the reason crowdsourcing can happen is because of the internet and internet-based technologies, and the fact that it's global, that you can create systems, processes, mechanical, technical processes that can then facilitate things happening. Lots of people coming together because the internet's global, going into the system and being able to work through something. So it could be the innovation, working through ideas. It could be actual tasks. I love that. To me, it's a little silly, but there's almost a gaming aspect to it. Or there can be a gaming aspect.
And that's a large part of it, too.
That can be. The contest aspect of it is part of it, too. And the voting up and voting down and the winning ideas. So that's just me geeking out.
Now, with the contest aspect of it, because it's a very different part about crowdsourcing, what do you think about it? Do you like the contest, winner take all? Do you think that there should be a different approach?
I think there's room for all the approaches. And I know that the contest and the doing everything on spec is something that gets a lot of people mad. And I think that there's a place for all of it.
Sure.
And if the people who are involved in the process enjoy the process, get something out of it, even if they don't win, they get some portfolio pieces, whatever the idea is that motivates them to do it, and they continue to come back and do it, then it seems to me like it should be okay.
Sure.
But I crowdsourced a logo actually through your site while I was writing the book. I used Prova to try out the whole crowdsourcing design thing, or the design contest, without going to a big site.
Right.
Because I didn't want to get overwhelmed. And I was still quite overwhelmed. So I tell people, crowdsourcing doesn't necessarily save you time, but it lets you do something in a new way. And sometimes it's a better, faster way, or maybe a cheaper way, but ultimately it's just a different way.
Yeah, and you got a fantastic logo.
I got a fun logo out of it, yes.
But those are great topics. You know, crowdsourcing, I've seen the benefit. It's not so much a time saver. It's not so much saving money. It's more about getting better quality.
Well, and I would say it's not necessarily about getting better quality, different quality. That different quality may be better.
Right.
But even just different
maybe
quality, well, but having something different could take you on a new path that leads you to something even better, something bigger, something you hadn't thought of before. I went into the design contest thinking, I don't want some icon. I want a cool looking word. I came out of it with an icon that I just fell in love with, and it was unexpected. And people always tell me, oh, that's so cute. Where'd you get it? And I could see it being little stuffed dolls, and I could see it being on T-shirts, and never would have gone in that direction. So it was different.
It's a diversity.
It's a diversity, yeah. It's a diversity of many minds coming together, working on something.
Sure.
I find all of the aspects of crowdsourcing quite interesting. Whether or not I'm going to use them, it's a different thing. Whether or not I'd recommend people use them, I think it depends on what they are trying to get done, what their goals are.
Sure. Now, when you researched your book, you talked to a lot of different companies. Who are your favorites?
Oh, that's not fair.
Maybe not necessarily the company, maybe a service you like.
What I liked the most, what really resonated with me, is probably the last chapter in the book, Crowdsourcing for Good. for social good, crowdsourcing to save lives, crowdsourcing in rescue situations. So any type of crowdsourcing where you bring people together during a disaster, during any kind of situation where many people can contribute to making something good happen.
Sure.
That to me was the epitome of crowdsourcing. So I'd much rather not talk about one specific company
Sure.
and rather just say that if you can find ways to use crowdsourcing for good, then that's probably going to be my favorite way.
Sure, and we're finding a lot of that. A lot of companies are crowdfunding for good, crowdsourcing through disasters such as Haiti earthquake, the Japan tsunami, things like that. So those are all great reasons.
Yeah, I think so. And ultimately, the small business owner, that's who is the audience for the book, the small business owner probably isn't thinking of saving the world, but I think it's nice to know that in many ways, crowdsourcing, finding a way to harness the energy, the brain power of many people could do good work.
Sure. Well, thank you very much. Aliza Sherman, author of The Complete Idiot's Guide to Crowdsourcing. For more interviews, visit dailycrowdsource.com. Thank you.